Hey everyone, my name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. If you like making money, subscribe to the channel. I look at undervalued assets and sectors, whatever is undervalued in the world. I'm going to try to find it, and then I'll present it, obviously, on this channel so everybody can see what I'm seeing. I was looking through the comment section, and I just wanted to respond to everyone. This is obviously just my opinion. A lot of people are looking for leverage. I may say something like platinum's undervalued, based off of history, given the ratio. And we're seeing these large anomalies in history, well, today versus history. And that can go, a year ago, beginning of 2020, March, 1 year ago, silver, experienced that same anomaly at a ratio of 120 to 1 ounce gold. We're seeing these anomalies happen. Oil experienced that anomaly in March a year ago. And when looking at the metals, a lot of people want all this leverage. And the one thing I want everyone to understand, and why I'm such a large physical, I'm talking like take physical delivery of the metal and then storing it where you can have access to it, is if something happens with our currency, and I don't know, it could be a when, you could maybe change this an if to a when statement, but I'm going to say if a currency crisis happens, or when a currency crisis happens, you better have some physical metals. There's going to be a point where, so when you look at it logically, if you were to step through this thing, the way I look at it is if you have the physical metals, you're protected from all risks. When that time comes, or if that time comes, however you want to say it, where we have a problem with currencies, what's going to happen is you have to kind of think through this. And at least this is my thought process. And if you guys disagree, put it in the comment section. I'd love to hear your opinions. But if something happens with the currency, especially with the reserve currency, what happens is everyone's going to aim their sight on something that isn't being aimed at today. So one, you don't want to buy this stuff when everybody's looking at it. You want to buy it before the move happens. And I know everyone's focused on leverage. They want more leverage. But what if this happens? This scenario I'm about to describe. So I'm over there, I'm buying physical metals. I'm buying it when the ratios are extremely cheap. I'm buying, quote, my insurance at the cheapest price I can possibly find. That's physical silver. I have 10% physical gold, 60% physical silver, 30% physical platinum is what I own. You guys can own it in whatever different amounts, but that's what I own. And when people find out that the metal's not there, and they're going to lie, everyone's going to lie to you. They're going to say, oh yeah, this is a horrible time to buy it. Don't buy it. They're going to keep saying that. And when they tell you, hey, look, you don't need to worry, that's when you worry. That's when you load up. And you're starting to hear some of these people say that. Jeffrey Christian of the CPM group, if he says, don't worry, I'm going to keep buying. I'm going to buy either way. Because if the currency doesn't have a problem, I win because I'm buying it when it's cheap. And if the currency does have a problem, I win because I own it. I own the physical. Now, if people, and this is a quote from David Morgan that I heard on an interview, and I always looked at it from a different perspective than what he did. He said it a little bit different, and I was like, oh, that's a pretty good saying. He said, when a problem happens, if a problem were to happen with the currency, or there's a shortage and people figure this stuff out, what if everybody runs at it? Not now, but what if people say, give me the metal. I don't care. Give me the metal. Give me the metal. And they say, we can't deliver it. It's gone. It's a fractional system. And that's when he said, well, what if your currency has a problem? And if this currency is a problem everywhere in the world, what if everyone runs at it? What if there's an infinite amount of demand? And it got me thinking, like, well, I always thought that things would be unobtainable, that it would be unattainable, and that the prices would go way up. But what if this is just a huge what if. What if everyone runs at it with everything they've got? What if the only thing that was going to protect your wealth in the entire world, and that means everybody runs at it with everything they've got because they know the dollar or their currency is going to go to nothing? What if that happens? Now, I know we've got these cryptocurrencies, and I know a lot of people are pretty big on cryptocurrency. Here's another what if. What if they put that there? What if the government put cryptocurrency into existence and they did Bitcoin? I don't know. We don't know who created Bitcoin. It's this mysterious person. What if they did that to condition everyone to accept cryptocurrencies, to accept these types of digital coins, to massage your psychological, they condition you to get used to it? What if that was done on purpose? Now, if you're out of the system and you own this stuff and everyone were to run at it because their currencies are defaulting, they're not going to be worth anything, what would the value be then? And if that happens, if a scenario like that happens, and you own the mining shares of a company, what's the likelihood of those companies being successful at pulling that metal out of the ground if it's worth 1,000 or 2,000 times more than what it is today, or 100,000 times more? The risk of a nationalization, something like that occurring, is going to go through the roof for all these things. So your risk of having those companies are going to go up in that type of scenario. I'm not saying that scenario is necessarily going to happen, but it could happen. So what I'm doing is I'm saying, okay, if this scenario does happen, what if you need this stuff, if you need physical metals to survive? I mean, this isn't a question of leverage. It's not a question of making money. This could be a question of surviving. That's the reason I own at least some physical metals, because, you know, I've got a family. Like I got to worry about this stuff. And when I look at things, I look at it from a complete perspective of, if X were to happen, how am I prepared? If Y were to happen, how am I prepared? And then you've got your other play money that you can try to grow and grow it up as big as you can. But if a scenario happens where everybody's running away from a currency, you've got shares in something, but what the heck are you going to do? How are you going to transact? I mean, you've got it in this account and you're like, well, I can't convert it to a dollar because that's going to go to nothing. What are you going to do? You're just going to sit there with a bunch of shares? So that's what I worry about. That's a scenario where I'd rather be massively prepared and out of the system just in case. And I know food is important. I know all that other stuff's important, but it's one other aspect that I don't know if people are really thinking about. I think that almost everyone, if you're an investor, should have some physical metal. I don't know what the right percentage is. I don't know. But I would hold at least a few hundred ounces of silver, or at least, some ounces of gold. I mean, I own some of it. I wouldn't own nothing. But that's just me. And when you look at these things from a if things were to go really bad perspective, and if everyone were to run at this, I mean, all that's going to do is transfer wealth to you if you own it. Your insurance paid off big. And if you can figure out ways where you can rotate money, or I should say, when I say money, precious metals, when you can rotate between precious metals, you can also increase your ounces over time without really ever selling it. You just transact and trade it into other ounces of different precious metals. And that's what I do. So I've got a portion over here where I'm always in precious metals, which is what I consider the lowest risk investment in the world. And I don't know if people are looking at it from the same perspective as me. You don't have to. I just wanted to share this information so you guys know my perspective and why I do it. I look at it as the lowest risk asset. I look at it as insurance. And if you can make money or purchasing power gains with that type of investment, where you never have to trade out of your insurance, I just do it. It seems like it's a no-brainer to me. And that's why I try to reach 33% of my net worth in physical precious metals. It's probably lower than that right now because uranium's gone up a bunch, oil's gone up a bunch, and that portfolio's gotten massive. So I'm going to have to keep adding into my physical possessions. Now, silver and platinum are my favorite. They are cheap on a historical basis. I think if you see a problem in any of these metals, if you see a problem in gold, in a problem of silver, in a problem of those two monetary metals, platinum, palladium, I mean, they're just going to go through the roof anyway. But either one of those, if we see a shortage somewhere, what they're going to do, people, I think, is they're going to say, look, silver short, go to gold, gold short, go to platinum, platinum short, go to palladium. I mean, you're going to see a massive amount of money rotate right at it and just shoot everything they've got right at those metals if something were to happen. Now, I don't know if something's going to happen. I'm not saying something's going to happen. I don't know. But I think there's a good possibility that something will happen. And with the inflation that's coming, with the stimulus checks, with where real estate's at and how high real estate's going, at least, remember, I'm a little bit jaded. I'm in Colorado and our real estate's going through the roof. Maybe areas are not as robust as this area. But when I look at metals, I can sleep at night. I feel a little bit more calm knowing that I have some and access to it. So that's my take on it. I'm not doing it necessarily because of leverage. I'm doing it because it's the lowest risk play in the world with very good returns. So that's my take. Give me a thumbs up for the content. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And I appreciate you guys listening. This is Finding Value.